If you're buying a house before saying I do, getting a mortgage is just half the battle.
And if you're buying a house after you said I do that went south, that's the other half of the battle. Hello, my name is Barry Horvath, and this is Moving Forward TV, your local real estate and mortgage update.
And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thanks for joining us today. You know, in today's world, people are waiting a little bit longer before tying the knot, before saying, I do. And that's a good thing. You know, they're getting their education in order, they're getting their careers going, they're getting even their retirements and stuff, they're getting all of that in order and getting everything all lined up for their future.
Let me tell them the real story. The real story is they're recovering from their boo-boo marriage, as we call it.
All of these things, though, they're good things. And then after they get all that stuff in order, then they say, okay, now let's buy a house, which is the biggest investment most of the time in their lifetime. So they come to get a mortgage. And that's where everything kind of falls apart because they're did such a great job of getting their whole life in order. And then they come and they say with a mortgage, and we're asking them for 1,000 pieces of paper because
1,000?
Nobody believes a word they say.
Who are you running
and
your loans through?
It's like mortgage mayhem, and you know, things look like a book. But it does tend to be a little bit frustrating for them.
Perhaps people are just waiting longer, DeLynn. Like my parents got married at the age of 12. I wasn't going to say it. Sorry, Mom. I know you're watching. But people are just waiting longer to get all their affairs in order, like you said.
They are.
Most lenders are actually okay with you applying jointly, even if you're unmarried, for a loan.
As long as you have 1,000 pieces of paper each.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, they're actually okay with it because I know people split up, we get divorced, but unmarried people have that same risk. So lenders are okay with this.
Right.
So
big misconception. People think that they can't buy a house together. Yes, you can.
You do not have to say, I do, to get a loan. You can actually, the benefits are actually great because, first of all, both incomes will qualify for that loan.
So you can get a bigger house.
A bigger house, more money.
Right.
Okay. Now, here's the drawback. Both debts will also...
So if one of you is completely debt-free and the other one has those student loans up the wazoo...
Oh, I wish I was debt-free.
Yeah, right. And then keep in mind, all those debts are going to count against you as well.
All right, I have a question.
Yeah.
What's a wazoo? Anyway, that's another show, right?
Probably.
All right. So, but the biggest thing to remember is the lowest score will dominate.
Yes. So one of you could have like a 790 credit score, absolutely perfect, way up the top of the rungs. And then the other person could have like a 650, still an okay score. That's the score they're going to use. Doesn't make a difference like it used to in the old days, who makes more money or who put more of the down payment down or anything like that. Has nothing to do with it. Regardless, the lower score is going to dominate. Okay, so now that we've given our 1,000 pieces of paper and we get a mortgage approval and we're all set to go to the closing, another really important thing to keep in mind is how are you going to take title when you're two unmarried people? How are you going to hold title to that property?
That's a good question, DeLynn.
You got some options.
Oh, you're asking me?
And this is an important thing.
All right. Florida is a lien theory state.
It is not a community property state, which a lot of people think out there. So
what does lien theory mean? Oh, let me tell you what lien theory means. Lien theory means basically that you hold the title and it gets recorded in public records and the lender, as we call them, puts a big old blop on that as a lien.
Right.
So you're actually in possession of the title and they just put a lien on it. So you can't do anything with that title until that lien is released.
And this is important to say because in Florida here, so many people move down. Florida here, like me, so many people move down from other parts of the country. And every state, not every state, but most states do this a lot differently. There's some states out there that are community property states. There's some states that are not lien theory states where, you know, and under those options, it's almost like a car loan where the bank actually holds the title to the property until it's paid off. And then they give you your title to the property.
And good luck getting that title back from the bank.
You know, 30 years later when you...
A 30-year mortgage on your car?
So that's important to say. You know, people are coming from all over the place and they are done differently. Down here, it is a lien theory state. You hold the title to the property, you hold the deed, but the bank has a lien on the house in the land records.
So which way should we hold title, people ask?
Right.
There's a couple ways to do it. One would be solely.
Obviously, if you're just buying it all by yourself, you're the only one on the title of the property.
That means me. It's all mine. Or you could do joint tenants in common.
Well, joint tenancy is the most common one, which is for husband and wife most of the time, or joint tenancy if you are two unmarried people, you can do it that way as well. Most of the time under joint tenancy, what that means is when one of you dies, 100% of their interest goes to the surviving.
So this show is joint tenants. So when you kill me, it's all yours.
let's not say that, right? The surviving person, the surviving person or persons, you can have more than 2 people on a title as well. You can have as many as you want. The surviving people is who gets.
They get it all.
Right.
And then we also have tenants in common.
Right.
Tenants in common means I own 90%.
Right.
You like where this is going? She owns 10%. Okay. So
in your dreams.
And then after she kills me and I go away, okay, now she's
unfortunately all 90 of it doesn't go to me.
It doesn't go to her. She's got to wrestle with it to get my 90%.
Right. Under the tenants in common, that is almost like a partnership. It could, first of all, it's not a 50-50. It could be any, 60-40, 70-30, whatever you want to do.
90-10.
And the person who dies or wants out or whatever, it goes to their heirs or their estate or something like that. So it does not necessarily go to the other partner. Big things to keep in mind when you're buying a home separately prior to saying I do.
You need to almost have that prenup kind of thing for unmarried people.
Right.
And knowing, what's going to happen to the property afterwards.
Right.
What if you decide to move out? You know? What if you don't like how I leave the toothpaste on the counter? These are all things to consider. If one person leaves, the other person, there needs to be a financial decision. You need to treat it like a business partnership.
My accountant said years ago about a partnership, actually, and it really could apply to anything. It's not necessarily a matter of if the partnership is going to end. And marriages are partnerships as well.
It's when.
It's when.
Eventually,
people get divorced, or unmarried people split up when they thought everything was going to be great, or partnerships end, somebody dies, whatever else. Don't look at me like that.
Because I know you want to kill me.
Not true. Anyway, it's a matter of when, not if.
So let's review what we talked about this week. You can buy a house
Yay.
as a single unmarried person. Did I say that out loud? Anyway, both incomes count, both debts count, but remember, lowest score rules.
Right.
And take into consideration how you set up the title is very important.
Protect your interests, exactly.
Set up an arrangement afterwards, or actually not afterwards when it's too late, before you even go there.
But bye. Now is a great time. We appreciate you guys watching. Keep in mind, we are today and every day
moving forward.
We'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.